I hope you'll enjoy this video.
This is how I'd run the Marlay Parkrun Course. There's about 500 to 600 every Saturday without fail. This start is quite a fast start, so you can really open up here. This is kind of free energy, but when you take this turn here, you should be on the left hand side so you don't get squished. But this is where you should start to just kind of settle down now. You've had your quick start, but just settle down now into a more reasonable pace. This is 400 meters of pain, I mean uphill, and you should be keeping your breathing under control. You'll find that there's a few eager beavers on this who'll be overtaking you. Let them, don't worry about it. It's far too soon to be working so hard in a 5k race. It's about after you got 3k done, that's when a 5k really kind of starts, not on this first hill. We're at the top of the hill now and it starts to even out, and the second kilometer is very, very quick. I tend to use the first couple of 100 meters of the second kilometer to just kind of check back in with myself, make sure my form is good, my breathing is good, and this is where I'm probably looking around to say, oh, who's running at the same pace as me that I can kind of stick with. This is all flat here, and then just as you go through here it kicks down, and this is where you can kind of really open up the stride a little bit and try and get a bit of time back that maybe you would have lost in the first kilometer. Marlay Parkrun, it's such an interesting route because it can be fast if you get your fractions right, but it's so hilly as well that, you know, if you just get it a little bit wrong, you're done. We're about to take a left turn here now, and if it's windy, this is where you're going to feel it. It gets quite exposed here. So again, if you're running with somebody, you could always hide in behind them and use them as a windbreaker. The third kilometer is probably the flattest of all, but this is where we're probably starting to feel it now. Our breathing is probably starting to get a little bit laboured and uncomfortable, and we have to keep giving ourselves reminders regarding our form. I'm not sure why the camera gets so shaky here. I think the GoPro just doesn't seem to handle low light, and with all the tree coverage it was quite dark in there. It might not look it, but it was. You'll have a marshal here just to send you back up this way. Again, the wind can kind of be in your face right now sometimes as well. This is an interesting part of the course because I always used to stay on the path thinking people were taking a shortcut across here, but they're not. I asked the race director and he said no, the course is measured across the gravel, so I was the one being silly there. We're approaching the third kilometer now, and this is slight downhill here where you can kind of catch your breath and just check back in again, because the fourth kilometer is a long drag. This fourth kilometer, we take a left here through the forest. This is where lots of people tend to go by me. I just can't run up hills, and it's not steep, it's just a long drag, but lots of people go by me here. I tend to take note of who they are and see on the final kilometer if I can catch a few of them. I tend not to. Again, I'm not sure, it has to be the low light with the GoPro. But this is a lovely surface, it's a nice tarmac. There's plenty of distractions with a lovely lake there on the left. But the tarmac runs out about here, and the surface becomes a little bit uneven on your foot as well, so you do have to be kind of careful as you're running that you don't trip or fall. It's a long drag. You kind of see the marshal here, and that's a relief because it means it's time to get out of the forest just here, and this is lightning fast. This last kilometer is really quick, and as I said earlier, if you have your fractions right, this is where you can really start to get those guys that overtook you on the fourth kilometer. I'm probably going a little bit crazy here now. Maybe just here I'm taking another little kind of breath before this downhill section on the right, and this is where you can really open up. You've only about 400 meters left to go, so this is where you dig deep. There's another marshal normally here as well, and you can see this is straight, flat, and then this finish is about just the same finish that we came down at the start. It's about 150 meters. It's a little bit uphill, but you're nearly there. Just go for it. And this bin here on the left, that represents the finish, and it was also the start line.